Once upon a time, in a humble little house, lived a kind and lonely woman. The house was quaint and simple, with a beautiful garden that was like her baby. She loved the vibrant colors of the flowers, the way they danced with the wind, and their gentle aroma that filled the air. However, in her heart, she yearned for a real child of her own. One sunny day, she went to a fairy who lived in a magical forest nearby. The fairy was old and wise and was known to help people. The woman requested the fairy for a child, even one as tiny as a thumb would make her the happiest. The fairy, with a gentle smile, gave her a magical barleycorn and said, "Plant this in your garden and wait for the magic." Feeling hopeful, the woman went home and planted the barleycorn in the most beautiful flower pot in her garden. She cared for it, watering it every day and whispering her dreams into it every night. To her surprise and delight, the barleycorn grew and bloomed into a marvelous flower unlike any she had ever seen. The flower was bright and sparkly, like a gem glistening under the sun. It was the most beautiful flower in her garden, and it brought her immense joy. One day, the flower bloomed, and in its heart nestled a tiny little girl, not taller than a thumb. She was so pretty, with golden hair, rosy cheeks, and eyes as blue as the sky. Overwhelmed with joy, the woman named the little girl Thumbelina because she was as tiny as a thumb. Thumbelina and the woman became the best of friends. They would laugh together, sing songs, and take care of the garden. Thumbelina's small size made her perfect for taking care of the tiniest buds and the smallest insects. Everyone in the garden adored her. However, one night, when Thumbelina was sleeping in her walnut shell bed, a big toad hopped into the window. Seeing the tiny girl, the toad thought Thumbelina would make the perfect wife for her son. So, she carefully picked up Thumbelina and hopped away to her home in the swamp. When Thumbelina woke up, she found herself in a muddy and cold place. The toad introduced her to her son, who was large and slimy. Thumbelina was terrified and terribly missed her home. She did not want to marry the toad's son and live in the swamp forever. A few friendly fish and a helpful butterfly heard her crying. Together, they helped her escape from the swamp. Thumbelina thanked her new friends and set off, hoping to find her way back home. However, the world was huge compared to her, and she felt lost. Soon, winter came. The world around Thumbelina turned white and cold. She found shelter in an old, hollow tree where she met a field mouse. The mouse, seeing how cold and tired Thumbelina was, offered her a home for the winter. Thumbelina was grateful and agreed. The field mouse was friends with a mole who lived nearby. The mole was well off and had a lot of food. He fell in love with Thumbelina's beautiful singing voice and asked her to become his wife. Thumbelina didn't want to hurt the mole, but she also didn't want to live underground forever, away from the sun and the flowers. She was torn and did not know what to do. As Thumbelina was pondering her situation, she met a swallow. The swallow was weak and injured, so Thumbelina decided to take care of it. She shared her food with the swallow and took care of its injuries. Over time, the swallow got better and stronger. The swallow could see how sad Thumbelina was and asked her what was wrong. Thumbelina told the swallow about her story and her wish to return home. The swallow felt for her and promised to help. As spring came, the swallow was ready to fly. It asked Thumbelina to sit on its back, and together they took off towards the sky. The world from above was incredible. Thumbelina could see the vast green fields, sparkling rivers, and all kinds of animals running around. But she couldn't spot her home. They flew far and wide until they reached a place Thumbelina had never seen before. It was a beautiful land filled with tiny people just like Thumbelina. The land was called the Flower Kingdom, and it was ruled by a handsome and kind prince. The prince saw Thumbelina and was amazed by her beauty and her story of bravery and kindness. He asked Thumbelina to stay in the kingdom and be his queen. Thumbelina was surprised by the prince's proposal. She found the flower kingdom to be a delightful place filled with peace, love, and individuals who were just her size. But she remembered her mother and her home. She missed them and decided that she couldn't stay. Hearing this, the swallow offered to continue their journey in search of Thumbelina's home. The prince understood Thumbelina's longing and gave her a tiny golden crown as a symbol of her courage and a keepsake of the flower kingdom. Back on their journey, Thumbelina and the swallow soared high and flew across woods, mountains, and seas. Then, one sunny morning, as they flew over a familiar scent, Thumbelina recognized her home. It was her beautiful garden, blooming with flowers and buzzing with life. Her joy knew no bounds. She thanked the swallow with all her heart, and with a warm goodbye, she climbed down into her garden. As she stepped onto the familiar ground, she spotted the woman working in the garden, her face showing the years of longing and worry. The woman looked up and couldn't believe her eyes. Her tiny child had returned. Their reunion was filled with tears of joy and warm hugs. Thumbelina told her mother about her adventures, about the toad, the field mouse, the mole, the brave swallow, and the flower kingdom. The woman was proud of Thumbelina's bravery and kindness. Thumbelina took out the tiny golden crown given by the prince. It was the proof of her journey and the sign of her courage. The woman planted the crown in the same pot where the magical barleycorn had been. And as if by magic, the crown sprouted into a beautiful flower, much like the one Thumbelina had been born from. Thumbelina and her mother lived happily together, taking care of their magical garden. Thumbelina was happy to be home. But sometimes, on quiet evenings, she would look up at the sky and remember her adventures, the friends she had made, and the lessons she had learned. So now, dear listener, as we close this tale of our brave little Thumbelina, may you too find the courage for adventures, the kindness for friendships, and the love for home. No matter how big the world may seem, remember, there's always magic to be found, especially in the heart of your own home. And as the stars twinkle outside your window, just as they do over Thumbelina's garden, I wish you a very good night. May your dreams be filled with magic and adventure, and may you wake up to a morning as beautiful as a blooming flower.